Hi guys.
What's up? We over here debating because Ho trying to dress like me.
Okay,
You know
if I wanted to dress like you, I would have wore plaid like I was going to originally do, but we're not even talking about that right now. Hi guys. Hi. Come on in the room.
Yeah.
Come on in the room.
See that number.
Ooh, guys. I'm so excited for tonight. I am so excited.
Tell all your friends.
Tonight.
Tell all your friends to come in.
Tell all your friends to join. What else we doing tonight? We ain't doing nothing else.
Let's talk communication.
They ain't doing nothing else. No, I'm kidding. I know they probably
What's up? What's up, guys?
How are we doing? How are we feeling? Is she playing?
Nah, she ain't play nothing. We
Come on,
told Alexa
Shadi.
to play some music, man.
Come
you
on,
play
Shadi.
nothing, man.
I need
doing
some
great.
tunes.
We
Alexa. Are doing good.
Alexa,
hold on.
play bedtime beats.
Bedtime beats.
Ooh.
Gotta be careful which one you tell her, because she may start playing Tank or something. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Oh, we got a newbie in the house.
Well, welcome. This is a good one.
Welcome. This is a very good one to be a part of. Yes, we are doing good. Our day was good. Honestly, we had a little bit of a lazy moment. We had an afternoon nap. He got on me the other day about taking a nap, but this one led the nap crew today. I don't know what's going on. Ever since that hour shifted, ever since we sprung forward, guys, we are super excited. So excited.
So excited.
I feel honored. This is our first guest, right, of 2021.
Is it our first guest?
Of 2021.
We were somebody else's guest, right?
Yeah, we were somebody else's guest.
Bad.
This time,
this is our guest.
We are
Seattle in the building, of course. We're going to get to Seattle being in the building.
Okay, we are talking about communication, which is one of the hardest things, I think, in a relationship.
No doubt.
A lot of things fall underneath of it.
It's like a big umbrella.
It's a big umbrella. And I know, like, so many times we had our lives and people ask us about communication. That is something that is consistently coming up. And we first heard of this couple. They go by Anatomy of Marriage. Their name is Seth and Melanie.
Yes.
And we first heard of them on the Love Hour conference with Kevin, Melissa.
So you already know they're dope.
That's what I'm saying.
Kevin, Melissa, one of them on their stuff, man. We was like,
we are honored that they accepted our request to be on our live. We're so excited. And you guys are buying badges, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. So yeah, Seth and Melanie, I'm not gonna hold y'all anymore because I know y'all let's just start. Okay. Yeah. So let's see. I think that anything else you want to say before we get started?
Man, they got their own podcast, Anatomy of Marriage. They usually on here like every Tuesday, I think it is. But
we'll let them confirm.
They'll confirm, yeah. But NBC News. They just dope. So let's get into it.
I got my water ready because I know I'm gonna be clearing my throat a lot tonight. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get them on here. Request to Seth and Melanie.
Keep buying those badges.
Yeah,
keep buying the badges.
Support them.
Hey! That's what I'm talking about. The energy is wild right now.
We've been dancing a long time. Wait for you.
The whole time we've been watching you, we've been over here like...
I love it. How are you guys?
We are wonderful.
We're doing good. We're feeling good. Gosh. How are you guys tonight in Chicago?
We're good. We got some good weather going, so I can't complain. We're happy all the way around here. So we're just so excited to have y'all.
We are so excited to be here, and thank you for your generosity. I mean, that's absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. You guys.
I know. We love it.
Yes, amazing.
Hold on, I need to talk, Melanie. Earrings, is these like real earrings right now? Because I'm not used to like the real earrings.
Well,
you usually got your earrings on your headphones.
No, my earrings are usually attached to my headphones.
That's what I'm usually used to. So it's like, snatch, you got real earrings on today.
I love it. But guys, thank you once again so much for coming on here and joining us tonight. We are not going to hold y'all long because I know we can go a long time, but we want to respect everybody's time. So totally get it. Yeah. But I just want to, have you guys explain who you are, how long you guys have been started, just whatever we missed just fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my name is Seth. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist.
And my name is Melanie Studley. I'm his wife, and I'm also a podcast producer and audio engineer.
Mm-hmm. And we have 3 shows. We have Anatomy of Marriage, like you guys talked about. We have Anatomy of Family and Anatomy of Sex. Whoop, Anatomy of
new.
Sex, which is new, but it's behind Patreon because my mom might be listening. I don't want her in my business. You know what I'm saying? So she's probably not going to pay. So I'm like, okay, we're cool, right? I know your sister listens too.
I know.
So
but
so we got 3 podcasts going on, and we've been married 16 years. We got 3 kids, and we're creating the resources that we wish we had.
Yeah.
You know, because we for a long minute, and I mean like 2 years, we were going through some heavy stuff, you know, and I think I told you guys before we talked, but it got to the point where there was a minute where Melanie gave me a black eye.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what's so funny? I said that in a conference once, and I got a round of applause. All the way, yes! I was like, what?
I feel like you gotta dig on that.
I know.
We gotta hear a little bit of that story.
Yeah.
Oh man, so it's no joke. Like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, but I mean, not to make light of that or anything, you know, we can now because we're on the other side.
Yeah.
But we were going through some really hard stuff, and I was looking to her for my happiness, and she was looking to me, and we were just a hot mess, you know. And that's what a lot of couples do. So that like started our journey into like, okay, we got to get stuff straight because we had 2 kids at the time. We don't want to, you know, get divorced. Let's power through this. And then like, you know, just the whole like self-help, like I got to get right before I can have a right marriage kind of thing. So that just like kicked us off on our journey. But yeah, do you want to add to that at all?
No, I mean, our whole thing just started from really wanting real, authentic, raw, like there's so many marriage resources out there. They're just everywhere. We're drowning in them, but they didn't look like us. There was no book for like how to love your husband when you kind of hope you would die. Like there wasn't a book like that. And that's what I needed because I was so angry at him and so hurt. And so that's really why we started everything that we started. All of our work is like real help for real couples because there's so much fake crap out there and it is not helpful. So that's our journey.
Yes, something that's tangible, something that's just not like the good answer every single time. Like those are great for like motivational moments, but it's like, okay, when I'm in the thick of things, like what do I really need to hear in this moment to make sure that like I'm not going to strangle him? Like, you know,
that's right.
I need that help.
Yeah, like especially for people of faith, you know, no matter what faith, like we grew up Christian and stuff like that, but we were looking like to the church or whatnot, and they were just like, "Oh, pray more." I'm like, pray more. Don't you see this? Don't you see this like bloodshot eye? Pray more.
How do I pray my way out of that?
I know. So we needed like real stuff right then in the minute, and so that's what we try to create with every single show.
Yeah.
So,
I love that, and that's honestly the first thing that I fell in love was the realness, like just the way that your delivery is. It's like no sugarcoating anything. And I think like so long we've grown up with just like this sugarcoat of just what sounds pretty and what sounds good, and it's like, no, let's get to the meat of things. Like, and I think that's just what's been great for you guys is that it's no sugarcoating whatsoever. So we absolutely love and respect you guys for that, for sure. Yeah, so being like a therapist, I guess our question is like, what is the number one question you guys get when it comes to like the communication?
Let's see, having the same like 3 fights over and over and over, and it's not really about the fight because we've all been in fights before. We're like, I don't even know what we're talking about, you know. It's like 12:30 at night, here we are, what are we even arguing about, right? So the same 3 fights, it's like not the thing that we're arguing about, it's like the thing below the thing below the thing. And oftentimes couples are just, they get frustrated up top, but if I could tweak a couple of small things, then that would be like, oh, she's not feeling heard. You know, it's not about like leaving your shoes or dirty socks on the floor. She's not feeling heard. So then we talk about, okay, you feel heard when XYZ, or like when I do something kind of thing, or I don't know, what would you add to that?
Well, another one that we get often, which is never what it's actually about, is people will say things like, how do I get my spouse to listen to me more, do X, Y, Z? And really one ends up being all about how do I manipulate someone to behave in a way that I would want them to behave, right? So it's really not the question that they think they're asking. What they're asking is, how do I get them to listen? What they mean is, how do I get them to do what I want, what I want them to do, which is not the same thing. And we get that all the time.
Right.
It's not easy to answer though.
Or everybody out there is going to be like, oh, yep. So a lot of us fall in the trap of, if she would just XYZ, or if he would just whatever, then I'll be happy, I'll be content, right? But we really talk about and push like, yo, you got to be happy,
no matter what.
If she's chilling or tripping, you got to find your own happiness, you know?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Trigger me or make me happy or whatnot. But at the end of the day, like I said before, I got to be right in order to make this right.
Okay. So sorry for all of that. Okay. So yeah, you guys, I think we're kind of talking about the people that pretty much are trying to be more manipulative and have things go their way versus, truly asking for what they want. So.
Yeah. So sorry about that. So
no, that's fine.
It's real life. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, no, one thing, and I don't know where we cut out, but we get a lot of couples around this communication thing. We're thinking, oh, if she would just do this, if he would just do that, then I would be happy. But we got to find what makes us happy in our own selves, right? Like we have to be right before the marriage gets right. And that's one thing that it took us a long minute to understand and realize. And like we talk to our coaching clients about this all the time. It's like, no, what brings you happiness? What brings you joy? And I'm not talking about in a selfish way. It's like, okay, maybe like think about like what God put you on the earth actually to do, right?
Right.
And then when you can pair up, when you got two people like yourselves doing something like, yo, this is speaking to me, this is speaking to her. Now we're just like jamming, and that's kind of where we are now. But I think back to the communication thing. So we have this tool that we use in therapy, and I didn't make it up or anything, but it's a tool called the clearing structure, right? And we talked about it on the Love Hour conference back, I don't know, last summer, and it's based on the idea of I statements. So I can go say, hey Melanie, you made me feel XYZ, and like, whoa, hold up, no, she really doesn't have the power to make me feel anything. I can choose how to feel,
right?
So I have to be in a good mindset to be like, okay, I'm not going to get reactive here, but I'm going to choose what I'm going to do. So the clearing structure based on I statement. So you say, hey Melanie, when you did that thing, I felt, not she made me, I felt a certain way, right? And the clearing structure goes through a couple of different steps. You want to speak to that, like the first one?
Right. Can you hear us okay?
It sounds a little muffled, but
can we turn this off? It's going through. We're in his truck.
Oh, did it connect to the truck?
Bluetooth. Yeah. We didn't mean to.
Bluetooth.
Everything that could go wrong. Turn that off and it might work. Don't hang on.
No,
turn it off. Oh my goodness gracious. No, we'll turn off. Turn your stereo off. Okay. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds a lot better.
There we go. So
we look like zombies.
I know.
Are you kidding?
We're about to tell ghost stories.
I know. Let's see,
Whatever.
Your follower's gonna okay,
No.
like weirdo zombie.
Freaky witches on your show.
Right.
Y'all are hilarious. We love it.
Okay, so go back to what you were saying.
Well, you were talking about the clearing structure, but there's lots of great tools that we have that we created. The clearing structure we didn't create, but we modified it to make it way easier to use. So therapists only ones who can use it. But then we have a ton of other great resources for how to improve your communication that actually work. Not a bunch of fluff, whatever. But yeah.
I love that. Did you have something? I know you were going to say something.
I wanted to ask the question. I know we got that from somebody. What usually stems from the lack of communication?
Right.
That's a good question.
Yeah. So we deal with this with our clients all the time, is when they're communicating poorly. Even if you're talking a lot, saying a lot of words, which we'd think of that as I'm communicating. But if you're doing that poorly, you still aren't getting your needs met. And oftentimes our clients or listeners to the show will be talking. I mean, I did this. saying a million words, but still never actually saying what I want or what I. And there's nothing more frustrating than that feeling, especially for your spouse who's like, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm listening, but you never tell me what you need. You never want. And I learned that when we first started making our podcast, because we recorded our fights. And I was, and it was the best, worst thing ever. Because I'm back thinking, oh, I got him. I'm going to listen back to this fight, and it's going to make so much. And it never did. I would listen back and I tell him what I wanted.
Yep.
So,
But she was thinking that she told me what she wanted. And there's this guy, his name is Chris Hogan. You guys should go follow him. He does like money and retirement stuff. One time. Oh, you guys know Chris. Okay. And he talks about clarity is kindness. Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Clarity, being very clear and articulate with what you actually want, or also what you don't want. Right? Instead of leaving your spouse to be like, well, they should know. They should know how to, right? Or like, if you were a real man, you'd know how to love, or whatever, you know, because like stuff. But the idea of clarity is kindness, and this one really got me sideways because, I'm from the South, right? Grew up in South Carolina, all this stuff, right? And different there. And she's from Seattle, way different culture, right? And then we come together. So I got all this family of origin stuff. I'm like, oh, well, you should know that, you know, married people do this or do that. And she was like, you should know that, like,
none of that matters.
None of that matters. or whatever. Well, that's what she thought, right? But so one of my things was like, I would assume that she would know what I was thinking. But in that statement, clarity is kindness. The more that I can kind of laser in on like, okay, Seth, what do you actually like? What do you not like? And you say it in a non-sarcastic, non-critical way. Oh, you can't? All right, you got to go get the skills to do that first of all, and then we start making progress, right? So we had to learn a bunch of stuff from like family of origin and all this stuff. Like, well, Mom did it this way. It's like, well, that's not how we do it here, kind of thing. And
I think that it's so interesting because, like, for me, it took me a while to even figure out what I wanted. Like, I always wanted him to know, like, you should be doing this or that, and it's like, well, hold on, did I even want that? Or like, you know, I didn't have that moment with myself where like I truly knew what I wanted, but then I expected him somehow to know when I didn't even know myself. So I was like, hold on, Hope, like, pump the brakes. Like, you got to give him grace, especially when you don't even know, you know, what the heck you want. So it's like, how do you expect somebody else to? So it's so good.
Well, yeah, that was another thing too, is that I realized in listening back to our arguments that I was like literally would never tell him in the straightest, plainest, easiest words what I wanted or needed or what I was feeling, because I wanted him to guess. I wanted to like get it close enough that he would feel loved. But guess he never guessed.
Right.
So come on. That's so deep right there to me because I feel like, are we playing a game right now? Like, you want me to guess?
And you hit him with the, you should know.
You know?
If you loved me, you would know.
You would know, right?
How long have we been together? You should know this.
Yeah.
So that messes with a man's mind, you ladies. Listen. He's like, okay, I did that thing you said, but it wasn't good. But you just said it. But now, oh, man. So and for guys too, you know, like somebody they were, when I said South Carolina, it's like, oh, South Carolina in the house, and they said heavy on the gender roles, you know, so that's the thing too. And not just in South Carolina, but it's like you got to unlearn some of this stuff and because how can you show your spouse you love them? You can be clear and then give them like some little guideposts, like, hey, Melanie, you know what? I like it when you XYZ.
Let me say it like this. It's like going to a restaurant, getting the menu, and then like looking at your waiter and being like, just guess. Just guess what I would like. And they're like, what do you mean guess? Like, well, I mean, you should know. Right. I mean, you serve people food all day, you should know. Like, come on. We need to be like adult enough to say, no, I want exactly this. Yes. And I these things. And no, I don't want a hors d'oeuvre or whatever. Like, we have to know what we want and what we like. And stop making our
hors d'oeuvre. You're going to a fancy restaurant.
Not hors d'oeuvre. I love it.
My life, I'll be honest.
Yeah. We're going to Applebee's to get the 2-for-1.
Right. Yeah, half price appetizers.
Right?
That's right. That's right. After 9 o'clock.
I love that. What was the next thing?
I guess it was one I was thinking about when it comes to communication, and a lot of times it is that back and forth. And I think somebody asked the question of, how do you communicate when there's only one party that's willing to do the job, that's willing to put in the work? How do you break that barrier? Because it's got to be a two-way street. But how do you break that barrier when one party feels like, yep, they don't want to do it, she doesn't want to do it, or he doesn't want to do it?
They're not getting the same that they're putting out, pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That is a really hard one. We actually have coaching clients like that, and it's a challenge. But what we always say to the client who's working harder, so the one who cares about it more, has the energy to put into it and all that, we encourage them to become really strongly and lovingly and kindly differentiated, meaning my happiness is not wrapped up in whether or not you respond the way I want you to, whether or not you're happy when I'm happy. Like, you can't tie your emotions to your spouse, especially in that type of setting when one is not willing to work on it. And you have to the hard part is when we have clients do this, they tend to want to lash back out because they're hurt. They want to be like, okay, like they just want to like throw the baby out with the bathwater and get mad and whatever, but that doesn't work. And it's more about creating a peaceful environment in yourself, a peaceful attitude, and inviting your spouse to join you on that ride, because you're going to go on it anyway. You'll be on if they're on the train or not. So come on along if you'd like. But I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna keep my peace. And you're welcome to join. It is hard though. It's harder to do than it is.
So the idea of differentiation, and then also like really good boundaries. So if I'm like, okay, how about this? So back in 2020, before all the pandemic craziness hit, I decided January 2nd that I was going to do this certain workout routine, right? You guys, it's called 5 Hard. Maybe you guys heard about it. But it's like 2 workouts a day, 45 minutes, a gallon of water, no alcohol. It's crazy, right? 70 days straight, no cheating. And like, so I was like, okay, I know this will be good for me, right? Like drinking water, no alcohol, all this stuff. I know this is good for me. So I started it. And Melanie, after, like day 1, 5, and 10, and 15, she was like feeling all put out, right?
Sick of it. I was not having it.
What if you spend an hour and a half with our kids or like on our podcast? What's going on? I was like, okay, I hear you, girl, but I'm doing this for me, right? So I was on board, no matter if she was on board or not. Now, spouses, don't get me sideways on this. Like, well, I want to spend, $100K on this thing, but she's not on board. No. I'm not talking about.
Right. That's not what we're saying.
Right. You gotta be on the same page with that stuff. But it's boundaries. It's like, hey, I know what you're saying. This is good for me. I'll make up the time, like, in the morning or whatever, but this is good for me and I'm sticking to it. Right. And but I said it in a very polite way. I was like, okay, I'm doing this.
He was always loving about it.
Very loving and clear. Clarity is kindness, remember? And then after day 30, 45, or 60, she was like, okay, I'm liking this. I was like looking good and fit and all this stuff. And then after I was done, she did it.
Oh,
that's right. That's
nice.
Right.
Yeah, it was funny.
So that's just an example of like having clear boundaries, because a lot of couples are like, oh, who do you think you are? Listen to these podcasts and read these books and stuff like that. And like, seriously, like they the other person gets pushed back and like, oh, you think you're better than me or whatnot with your H&K all day or podcast stuff. But it's like, no, that's it. So I would, so if you're a spouse and you're feeling that way, I'm like, hold on, they're doing good, doing good. Let's lift them up. Let's don't be like bucket and try to pull each other down. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that is real life. Like real life, because there's moments where Candor wants to do extra workouts and I'm like, babe, that's you, that's not me. I'm gonna give you 3 to 4 days a week, but after that, if you want to go 5 to 7, I don't need to be there,
Right.
I will encourage you from the bed, but that's about it. But I think that it just shows like that we're still individuals at the end of the day too, and like he's gonna have what he wants, to contribute to, or whatever kind of self-help he wants to do and personal development and growth. And I think it just comes with respect. Like, you just have to respect that person. And as long as they've communicated that with you, that like, that's what they want to do. Like you said, like, just support them. And I think you can't lose when the communication's there. But when they start just not communicating that and then just start going off and doing stuff, and then you're kind of wondering like, well, what happened? Like, what's the shift? You gotta just kind of properly communicate that. So y'all are all up in our kitchen when it comes to that, because that is so true. But anyways,
speaking of all up in our kitchen, I think we talked about a little bit of exercise, like an exercise you guys do, you know, with when you're coaching or with clients, and we're willing to try it. An exercise.
This is okay. Look, look. Be gentle, okay? Cause
look, everybody said we love H&K, and then we get on this, and they're like, "Yo, they got some issues."
No, I'm sure it'll be great. Yeah, we're excited. So yeah, whatever you guys do with your clients, we are now going to be an open book for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna close the book. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, just to be like a live example, I guess, just for other people. So whatever we can do to encourage somebody, let's just hop to it.
Yeah, awesome. So
I love it.
I would love to find one thing that is like a sort of a core issue that you haven't been able to resolve, and it can be different for both or the same. So can you pick one real quick? Like, is there an easy, fast one we can work on?
Core issue that we haven't been able to resolve. We haven't figured out, this is just me personally, like, since we've started H&K, we're trying to master working styles with each other. Like, the difference in, like, I'm corporate, he's athletic, like, world. So his hours are longer than what I want to work.
She not getting up until 8 o'clock, and I've been up for 2 hours already. What's going on? Let's go.
And it's just like respecting our differences and trying to mesh that together now that we're working together. So that's probably a big where we're at right now.
Perfect. Okay. So that'll work out great. Yeah, so this method, it doesn't have a great name, but what I call it is tell me why it matters, then tell me what you want. That's the name of the method. And it's flipping around what people normally do. So normally people get into a fight because they say what they want. They go, well, I need you to come home earlier. I need you to this or that. And they tell you what you want, what they want first. And so then the partner's like trying to think, well, I can't come home early because I'm at the office or I'm at this or that. And then they fight for 7 days. And then at the end of 7 days, when they've cried forever, they finally go, well, I want you to come from the office early because I feel lonely. And it's like, oh my gosh, it started with, I feel lonely, right?
Yeah.
We could have got a lot faster.
Yeah.
So that's why I start with, tell me why it matters. So in that situation, actually, you just mentioned waking up earlier, right? So why does it matter to you to wake up 2 hours earlier? Let's start with that one.
I would say it matters to me to wake up earlier. It's because I feel like if we get the day started, it will allow us to get more done, and then end our day earlier as well. So then we have that time to then reconnect, where we're not then taking it further, like taking our day further into the night. So I think we start earlier to end earlier.
Right.
But I'm sorry. Look at me. But have we ended earlier though?
We haven't gotten up earlier.
Oh, okay. Well.
So did you know that was a motivation for him, that mattered to him?
No, I honestly thought that he was just used to getting up early. Like, I just, for work, he normally is up at 5 something. So I just thought, your body gets used to just waking up early. So I'm thinking, he's just up just to be up. But
right. So in a way, you didn't really even know that it mattered, right? Like, you didn't know that getting up actually mattered, even if he may have told you it mattered somewhere along the line. But that's why I think this method is so great. Tell me why it matters.
Right.
Now what you need or what you want. So in that, I mean, I'm assuming that the what you want part is I want to wake up earlier, right? I'm assuming.
Correct.
Yeah. So from your side though, Hope, is there a different version of like, I want to sleep in, it matters for me to sleep in because what? Like, is there an opposite side of that?
Yeah, so for me, I honestly love our bed. Like, I love this sounds weird, but I love sleep. Like a lot of things have happened in that bed, from like crying at night to prayer times with God to like, it's just like a sacred space for me. So honestly, like when I wake up, I want to lay there for a minute. I want to have my prayer time in my bed. I want to, you know, just have a moment to myself. So it's not like I get up and I'm like, oh, got to get the day started, got to get out of the bed. I'm more so in the bed to have a moment into myself. And which we've come a long way, because before I would want him to stay in the bed with me, because I'm like, oh, you know, I just want to wake up and, you know, just lay in your arms and just have that moment. But now it's like I've respected him getting up now to the point that I'm like, oh, okay, you know, well, if he's gone, then he's gone. I'll see him whenever I get out of the bed. But I think for me, it's just, I love that morning time just to like reflect and like just pray and just kind of stay comfortable.
Right.
Okay, so that's good. Like, Candor, did you know that?
No, because I always in my head think, yo, she's just sitting in the bed. Like, I know she up. It's 8 o'clock. I know you up. Like you said, you're gonna be out here by 8:30, and I hear your alarm go off. So you're just sitting there. You can just get up. You might as well just get up. Or you got up when I got up, because you're so used to me getting up at 7 or 6 that you wake up too.
Yeah.
So why do you just lay there? Might as well just get up with me, and we can start the day. So not realizing she loves that reflection time.
I know.
Yeah.
Jesus on the
How much do we owe you?
Laying in my bed.
Oh boy.
I just imagine you're like, dear Lord.
I'm telling you.
So that's good. And like, hopefully, like, so we just actually uncovered something like, oh, that's his reasons for getting up early. And it's and that's your reasons for like bed. And me and Melanie have like these check-ins. If she's like just doing, you know, Instagram or something, it's like late at night. She is not assuming what I'm thinking, but just like checking in, like, hey, I'm actually working. I'm not just, you know, like looking on Pinterest or like spending money or whatever. And it's like, if she, I don't really care, but it's like that kind of like, I don't know, that well, mutual respect kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it's all about clarity. I mean, because as humans, what we do, you both are a perfect example. We make assumptions. We just assume we know what the person is doing. And that's the, I mean, and think about what that assumption turns into. Oh, she's just lazy. She's
right.
It turns into, I have a bad, we always assume the worst of our partner. So we have an assumption, and then we assume, well, it's because they're lazy or they don't care or whatever. But all we need to do is bring clarity, right? That tell me why it matters, and then tell me what you want. But
no, that's good. The assumption part is good. The assumption part is good, because even if I walk by and just peek and I see her on the phone, I'm like, she's probably just sitting on Instagram. Like, that's part of what we do. So you're sitting there doing what we could do out here. Just come out here and do it.
And half the time, I'm on a devotional.
Oh, get you, man. She's in the bed praying.
She's talking to Jesus.
She's praying for you. She's praying protection for you.
And you're out there judging.
And then on Instagram,
what are you doing?
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's good.
But that is so good. So walk away with gain understanding as to why. Ask the question.
Ask the question why.
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you want to do it?
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask this. Now, at the end of the day, we both know each other's why.
What do we do from there?
Where do you go from there?
Well, now it's sorry, our lights just died. We really look bad now. We'll go with it. But the next this is one of my favorite things to do with couples is to create a vision. And I know everybody's heard that before. Everybody's heard like have a vision, whatever. But here's why it matters now. When you have a vision that is strong enough to pull you towards it, you go, I want to have a healthy marriage where I have wonderful sex, a spiritual relationship with my husband. We pray. Like, you set these goals. They're up farther away from you, right? Then when you have these moments of conflict, you know what your long-term vision is. So you know what's going to get you there and what's not going to get you there, right? So it weeds out the bad stuff, and then it highlights the things that will be helpful to get you there, if that makes sense. So again, a lot of that goes to knowing the bigger picture of what you want, right? If I want to have a healthy, respectful, mutually respectful marriage, I can't call him names. I can't say bad things to him. I can't lie to him. I can't steal money from him. It really does like make it clear what you need to do.
So here's a question, and I'm looking at us. I'm like, we're
no, we
like
look,
Michael Jackson's Thriller. We're like,
we look terrifying.
Yeah,
I look so greasy, like
it's a glow. It's a glow. It's a glow. Good.
I don't know. It's something, right? But okay. So here's a question. Like let's just we'll put you on blast for a minute. So okay, Hope, you said, yep, I'm all corporate. He's coming from the sports world, athletic world, but we're doing this thing H&K every day. So what is your guys is like? Okay, we're your higher thing, right? Like you guys are doing this. Of course, it's fun, it's cool, it's engaging, but maybe there's a bigger purpose for it, right? So that's definitely up to you guys and what you like talked about, what you established, and then so if here's an example in that same way. It's like, okay, we want to reach hundreds of thousands of couples who maybe went through similar things that we went through. So now we have to bring our A game on, content, all this stuff, and just being present and leading with vulnerability. So if we're getting all like, tripped up with like, well, you did this, we can go, hold up a minute. Let me get my composure. This is what we're going towards, right? When we're working together, right? Because this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? I just quit my job. I know we talked about that too, but this is what we do. So stuff got real 2 weeks ago. It's like, okay, what's our mission? What's our higher calling? What's our higher purpose here? Not only individually, but as a couple as well.
And I want to add to that. When you do the right thing, it feels wrong. It feels so boring and stupid. It's the last thing you want to do because the thing you're used to is the thing you're used to. You go, oh, every time his voice gets higher, I yell at him. That's what I know. Then one day his voice gets higher and I don't yell at him. That's boring, right? So doing the right thing feels very wrong. And so that's what we have to tell our clients. You feel comfortable when you're in a conflict with your spouse, that means you're not doing it right. Like if you're used to it and it feels normal, you're doing it wrong. The work is sitting in discomfort and being like, I want to call him a terrible thing, but it's not going to be the right, it won't get us to our bigger goal kind of a deal.
Okay, so Candor, you're in athletics, right? All this stuff. The players and the coaches who put in the work, you can tell who they are, right? Like, okay, they're on the field, they're putting in the work, they're doing the reps, right? Marriage is no different. Right. Do you think anybody wants to wake up at 4:30 to hit the gym when they just went 12 hours earlier, when they're sick or like, millionth rep or anything? Do you think that I want to be like, okay, we've had this argument before. It's 11:30 p.m. I got to wake up at 5 and I'm kind of pissed right now. No, that's the last thing I want to do. I don't even see her.
Yeah.
The work happens there, right? That's where the work is, on the field, in the gym, whatever, on the track, in the bedroom at 11:30 at night. It's like, this is the work. So we got to put in those reps, and anything usually worth having is worth working for.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, that is so good. I just appreciate you guys for sharing and pouring into us. Being that we've been on here for 45 minutes, right? Okay, that flew by. Didn't mean to take up that much time. But I think, can we just get into, if y'all don't have anything else to say, what?
Q&As.
Yeah, Q&As. I know some people have some questions that they have regarding communication. Let's see here. Is anything in particular you want to go through? All right, let's see. So one question is, how can I diffuse a situation without having to walk away or ignoring my partner? So how can they diffuse a situation without walking away or just straight up ignoring their partner?
Right. So the first thing you need to know about that idea of diffusing a situation is that we have this thing, it's called flipping your lid. You've all experienced it or heard it. It's like flooding. Like when you get to the point you're so angry that all of a sudden you're like, all right, game on, and you want to punch somebody.
Yeah.
Okay. That was weird. So you like
well, people know what that is.
I know. So that is actually a biological thing. It's a thing that's happening inside your body. It has to do with chemicals, has to do with how our brains work in fight or flight. It has nothing to do with how smart we are, with how like it does nothing to do with like our thinking brain, and it's all our lizard brain, our reptilian brain. You're reactive, and it's a terrible place to be. So one of the things that's helpful to understand, it takes about 20 minutes of getting away from a situation to calm back down to normal, where you can talk and like communicate and resolve a conflict. But often there's a pursuer in a relationship. That was me. I love to fight, you guys. I love to fight.
The pursuer distancer dynamic, right? So I can be like, okay, I'm not talking. Then what's she gonna do? Then she's gonna like bulldog, like pit bull, just come at me faster, and I'm gonna run. Guess what? She's gonna run faster.
I know.
And then the faster I'm getting chased, I'm like, I'm out of here, right? So a lot of times couples get in the pursuer distancer dynamic, where one is like, yo, no, I can't. I'm telling you, I can't. So give me 20 minutes. But the thing is, to diffuse a situation without walking away, you can still walk away, but I want people to be really clear in that, saying, okay, I know myself. I'm not going to leave you hanging on this. I know this is important to talk about. I need 20 minutes.
Yeah, and set an alarm. Set an alarm on your phone.
Say, hit that Apple Watch. Be like, whoop, 20 minutes. I'll be right.
We will talk about this in 20 minutes, and that is a biological thing in our bodies. We actually cannot think clearly if we're flooded. We can't. There's been studies about it, all sorts of, because it's fight or flight. We think someone's going to hurt us, even if we know they're really not. Our brains cannot function the way that they are at their highest level when we're flooded. So the best way, again, clarity is kindness. Say, I really want to keep talking about this. I need 20 minutes to think and process, and I'll meet you back here at 1:20 or whatever it is.
Yeah. Right? I love that. That's such a good answer, because we get the question all the time, like, do you address something at the moment, like when you both are there, or is it, I guess, responsible to kind of walk away and know your limits before you, and that's kind of how I am. Like, I'm like, I need a moment to process. I can't just, sometimes, of course, we have our disagreements and we're just there disagreeing or whatever. Or what did somebody call it? Heated fellowship. Heated fellowship is what they call it. So sometimes we have that, but there are some heated fellowship moments where I'm like, nah, I need a minute, because I don't want to regret something, that I may say, or, something like that. So I think that is really, really good advice. All right, let's see here. Another one. Someone asked, how do you begin to trust to honestly communicate when you're still hurt? So how do you begin to trust to honestly communicate when you're still hurt?
Trust is a really common thing that we deal with a lot. And in our own story, I did not trust Seth for a long time, and it took him being continuously faithful and honest and showing up no matter what I did, which sounds really weird, because I was terrible to him for a very long time because I was hurt, and he showed up every day. Just like an athlete, you wanted to win the gold medal, you showed up every day, even if you were sad, tired, whatever, sick, who cares? He showed up every single day. That built my trust in him, because he always showed up. Even if I was mean, even if I didn't say anything, he would always show up. So that's one. But I think with trust, it's a very slow rebuilding process. It's like, it's so.
Well, they always say trust takes a long time to build and an instant to just
break.
Get shattered, right? If you ever get, like, I don't know, just like the freeways in Chicago or out here in Seattle or whatever, it's like, if you ever seen like construction on a bridge, it takes them a long minute to make a new bridge, right? And it's stages, right? Yeah. Earthquake or whatever, boom, that thing can go. But patience, and
it's incremental, just little by little. And again, we go back to that idea of like kindness and clarity and all of those things. Like, you can show me that you are trustworthy by being clear, being kind, showing up every day, little by little. An aggregate of that over time will be, I trust you now. The whole bridge is built. I trust you. Yeah, that makes sense.
Absolutely. Awesome. This is such good stuff. Okay, let's see here. So let's see. Is there one in particular you want? Oh, this one? Oh, this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so can a person honestly be too busy to communicate?
No, that tells me you're really bad at communicating.
Right.
So there was I can't remember who wrote this, but it was like, sorry, it was such a long letter. I didn't have time to write you a short one. Right? There's a, right.
That's good.
It is a challenge to become a good communicator. It's hard. We have lots of examples of really terrible communicators around us all the time. We're inundated with, people who say like all the time, which I do. People who can hardly, they're trying to, right? So to be a concise, clear communicator is a skill. It's an art form.
So let me tell you this too, and this might hit a nerve with like folks that work out or whatever. It's like, so we've had coaching clients, who might want to like have a different body or get to the gym or something and say, I don't have time to, man. But guess what? What we value, we are going to prioritize and we will make. So who's, I don't know who sent that question in it, but it's like, you are not too busy to communicate, because guess what? You're communicating something.
Right.
You're not giving them the time of day. Maybe you don't care. You don't value them as much as you should, or you're taking them for granted. You're definitely communicating something.
Right.
So I'd say make it a priority as much as like Netflix and chill is, or like, I don't know, going hanging out or whatever. then that's when things will change. So I'm gonna push back on
That's so true.
It's real.
That's so true.
That's real.
That is so real. Guys, I mean, this has just been amazing. I guess, like, if there is one thing that you would encourage people to do when it comes to communication, what is that? Or two, one or two. But like, what are those key takeaways that they can, leave this live and kind of like do in order to better their communication with their spouse or whoever it is?
One thing I wanted to say that might sound like it isn't kind of related, but I promise that it is. Everything we do communicates something, right? Not communication is not just words, right? It's body language. It's if we roll our eyes at our partner, if we turn away from them when they speak to us, if we're scrolling on our phone when they talk to us, these are all communication, right? I think that like 80% of human communication is nonverbal. It's not words, right? Everything we do communicates something. So if I go to bed early and I don't say goodnight to Seth, I said something to him. I communicated something.
Yeah.
Right? That for me is really important. And even something like, if I get angry at Seth and I scream in his face, regardless of what I say, I have communicated something about how I value him, how I will treat him, right? Like that communicates a bigger, broader thing. So I want to encourage people to really evaluate what they're communicating, even when they're not talking, because it's a big deal around intimacy too. Like if I shut off all the time and I'm basically communicating, I don't want to have sex with you, right? Like all the time. But then you I don't know. It's just, there's so much to communication other than words. So I want people to think about it.
Right. And I would say one thing kind of, I think it makes all that other stuff kind of downriver. It's like, okay, you got to know what you want first. You know what I'm saying? We can want the best relationship in the world. Oh, I want to communicate with her or him, this and that, and feel good and happy all the time. But if you don't feel that for yourself,
right,
like that other stuff is just not gonna happen. And that's like I give this example. It's like, okay, if I only have $1 in my pocket, but like my lifelong goal is to give her $2 or something like that, but I only have $1 in my pocket, it's never going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if we want this good communication or all this stuff or great sex or, happiness, if I don't have that here, then how can I expect to have it out here? You know what I'm saying?
Right. That is so true.
Yeah, you got to know what you want in a real way.
Another thing too,
you're good. You're good.
4 hours. But another thing I think is really good to ask yourself is the types of communication really do matter. So I'm going to use yelling as an example. So I used to yell a lot. Begin to ask yourself, like, how does that serve you? How does that type of communication serve you? So whether that's shutting down and not talking, whether that's yelling, whether that's being sarcastic. I was also super sarcastic for years, and project out, like, where will this get me? Where will it get me to scream? And even with your children, where will it get me? Where will it get them in 10 years from now if I yell at them every day? And what does it say if I yell at my kid every day? And trust me, I was doing this. That's the only reason I can speak to it so plainly, is that I had to really sit down. What am I doing? Like, this is not just like, oh, in the moment I'm mad. I was will your current behavior get you where you want to go?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Anything, finances, exercise, body wise. Will this diet? Will this right here get you over there? Oh, it won't. Well, okay, we better change something right here. Right.
Yeah. Right. And I guess I kind of want to ask too, because like Melanie, when you're talking about like you were like a yeller, like that kind of makes me think too about the people that aren't. So like if you have a hard time trying to articulate what you're wanting, or if you're kind of like a soft-spoken person, don't really know how to communicate, like are there practical steps that person can take to try to get their point across, I guess, if they're not used to communicating?
Yeah. Well, I would say a good way to do it is you can do it through email or like text or somewhere where your partner can reread it. That's another thing that we do a lot with our clients and we have listeners, we tell them like, do it in a way that your partner can re-listen to it so they can't argue with you and ignore what you asked for, right? Because that was so Seth would ask for something and I would argue because I love to argue, right? Yeah. So the pushy, loud, argumentative partner like doesn't even care what you wanted because they're just busy trying to argue, right? So a great is if it's something you're not comfortable with, you have to struggle with it, write down why it matters, right? Why does it matter? I'll feel loved if you do this, or I'll feel better, I'll feel whatever it is. And then what you want, right? So this is the thing that matters. This is what I want from it. Write it down. And then if your spouse tries to bring it up but doesn't really address it, bring it back to why it matters and what you want. Say, can you please reread this?
Yeah.
Reread it.
Slide it to you one more time.
Right.
Go listen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That is so good.
That's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, we are full right now, and we appreciate you guys so much. Yeah. Just let everybody know kind of the platforms you guys are on, how folks can get to know you more, find you on all your stuff.
All the stuff. Yeah. So the Studleys.com, STUDLEYS.com, or on Instagram, obviously Anatomy of Marriage, Facebook, Anatomy of Marriage. If people have any questions, shoot us an email, hello@anatomyofmarriage.com. We answer them. We'll go live on the show, just answer listener questions just like we're doing now. Right. And just hit it up.
We definitely have to do a pod. Like we have to do this again, but with better internet connection, because we can talk forever.
We'd love to have you guys on our show.
If you're
open, cool. Right?
We'll be all for it.
We're here for it.
We're here for it.
This has been a blast. Thank you. I mean, your audience is amazing. This has been so much fun. And I really deeply apologize for whatever the lighting is doing and whatever.
You know what?
At all.
It's real life.
It's new level, new devil. We're going to have a fun conversation. And they ain't having none of it.
That's what I'm talking there. I said, you know what the church people say when the Lord's trying to get a message out, things just start glitching. But it was so good though. I definitely I'm taking away a lot as well. Yes. And we'll compromise. Maybe he'll sleep in a little later and I'll wake up a little earlier. I don't know.
We now know our whys.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. But thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. Just hilarious, freaking hilarious. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you guys. But yes, guys, follow them. Guys, thank you so much once again. And to all, a good night. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Thank you.